Trish ended up getting the boot, which it had to happen, but it sucks. Trish is one of those characters who, like, I don't think she was necessarily hated, but I don't think she was loved by as many people as, say, like TJ or Tay or Jimmy and things like that. Jimmy, even after all the stuff Jimmy did, Jimmy still has these, like, crazy, crazy fans. And I'm not, like, making a moral judgment on, like, Jimmy right now or anything like that, or even the fans. I'm just saying, like, usually when somebody does what Jimmy's done, they don't have many fans after that. But he just seems to have this, like, hardened base of people who really, really still love the hell out of him. Trish, she was seemingly a very chill girl who had a nice vibe to her. I never got a feel for her that, like, I wanted to be away from her or anything like that. She's someone who I know if she and I were in a room together in, like, say, a social setting, I wouldn't be off-put by her in any way, shape, or form. I also wouldn't feel like I need to be a source of entertainment to her or anything like that, because that's one thing that a lot of pretty women kind of have going for them, right, is sometimes you can... look, Trish is a very pretty girl. Right, I've seen the pictures of her all did up with the makeup and the the clothing and stuff like that. Like, she's a very pretty girl. When you're that pretty, you tend to I'm not saying every girl who's that pretty is like this. Obviously, I'm saying Trish is not like this, but sometimes when a girl is that pretty, she can have this kind of attitude about her where it's like, if you're not providing a source of entertainment to her, or some other resource, then she, like, it's not even that she just doesn't feel that you're worth her time. It's that she's going to, like, try and clown on you in some way. I never got that feel from Trish. She seemed like someone who you could just kind of be yourself around, and it's not going to be that big of a deal. I did have somebody trying to hit me up about her, though, and, like, I don't know if that person's watching right now. He's probably not. This is one thing I'll say about all the fish, right? It doesn't really matter to me what the fish do or what the fish have done, so long as it's not some crazy stuff like that Simmons tier stuff. It really doesn't matter to me like that, I'll be honest with you. You know, if it's not anything that, like, crosses that line is what I mean. I don't care that there's, like, an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend that has a story about the time that one of the fish was, like, really, really mean or anything like that. That's none of my business. Right? I'm not here part of season 2 to be some kind of, like, moral arbiter who decides whether or not someone's a good person or a bad person. Even if I did decide that, even if that was, like, a role of mine, right? As crazy as that would be, what does it matter? They're not getting kicked off the show because they had an ex-boyfriend that, like, slid in my DMs like, dude, she's like a narcissist, bro. I had to cut her off. It's like, all right, great. Thanks for letting me know that. I'll be sure. As a married man, I will be sure not to end up in a relationship with Trish. How about that, man? Not to, like, condescend to that dude or anything, but I did have an ex of hers, like, in my DMs, and I didn't bother answering them because it's like, what do you want me to do with that info, bro? You want me to go in week 2 and be like, I heard some stuff, Trish. I heard some stuff. You're off the show. I'm Sensei Scott, and you're off the show. It's like, nah, you know? Not only that, but, like, even with the things that I did see from Trish, she seemed to be kind of aware of them. Like, she was all over a lot of dudes, if I'm just being honest. I mean, we all kind of noticed this. She was all over a lot of the dudes, and, you know, that's a little bit troubling. If you allow it to be troubling. Like I said, I'm a married man, so I'm not exactly sitting here, like, trying to get in a relationship with her or really have anything with her on that front. So, like, it's not troubling to me. It's just kind of something I have observed about her. Observed about her. But, like, she seems to be aware of that issue. She seems to kind of understand that about herself, which is something that kind of makes her a little bit more likable or tolerable. I hope that when she gets out of here, she's going to work on herself so that she's not kind of flirting with, like, every guy in the room. Like, literally, she'll be like hanging, like when Octavius was there, right? This was the last time I was there for about 2.5 weeks until I ended up coming yesterday. It was Octavius and Brian still in the tank. She was all over Brian. She's flirting with Sam, kind of a little bit bubbly around me and things like that. But then Octavius comes into the tank and she is all over Octavius. And I just thought it was funny because, like, I heard something, I turned around, and I said something, and she just immediately snapped from Octavius to me, trying to like be like flirty, right? In the way that somebody does when they're kind of trying to lightly rib you, right? That's kind of the idea that I got about her in that moment. And it's like, I hope that she kind of gets that under control, because she's a nice girl, she's a chill girl, I like her, but she's not going to be able to find a dude that is like going to be legit if she doesn't kind of get that under control. That's the issue that I had with a girl who I was seeing before I met my wife. I was seeing this girl, and she was so fucked up. I actually talk about her on my Patreon a little bit. Not even a little bit. She had a whole video dedicated to her. She was so fucked up that I actually, one, decided I was going to swear off women for the rest of my life. That lasted for about a year and a half, 2 years. And two, it made me want to get back into Christianity. And part of her being so fucked up is that I couldn't trust her to go anywhere without flirting with a bunch of dudes. And of course, when you would call her out on it, she'd be like, "What? What?" And because of that, this girl is now in her mid-30s. She is overweight. I happened to check in on her one day. She was pretty damn overweight, and she is not married and has no kids. And I am not even saying that because I'm like, "Ha, got him." No, like, that's a very sad thing. This girl that I'm talking about is in her mid-30s. Trish is, I think, 23 or 24. I feel like she said something within the last couple of days. She's got time, but not as much time as she might think. So, like, she's got to get it together, and I hope that, I genuinely hope the best for her. It's unfortunate that she had to go, but that's the name of the game. One thing that somebody said on Twitter, and I wouldn't mind this either, is if, I don't want this for everybody, right? If you're week one elimination, I think you got to get the hell out. But if you're down to the top 5, the top 4, I feel like it'd be nice if they gave these people the option to become instant freeloaders when there's like a week or two left. I think that'd be cool. For one thing, it'd be nice to not have to say goodbye to these people until the very last day of the competition. But in addition to that, I think as freeloaders, it would make it a lot more interesting, because you go from trying to win the money to now trying to sabotage people winning the money. If you had a beef with like one of the people in the top 2 on week 3 and you never got over it, you can now try and sabotage that person and things like that. I think it would add like a new dynamic. You know, we'll see what happens in future seasons and things like that. The bottom line, right? I kind of jump from place to place. I'm gonna have to really edit this hard when I go to release it as a standalone video. But Trish, I'm going to miss her, right? I'm actually looking for her socials right now. She's one of the few people. It's like, I follow Brian, I follow Jimmy, and I'm going to be following Trish. Like, those are the only 3 from this season that I actually feel are worth following. Maybe Taylor after the season's over, right? And Shinji. All right, so like 5 out of 10 people. That's half of them. But considering that I followed almost everybody from season 1, and I still do follow almost everybody from season 1, I think that says something, right? It says something about the way that I feel about the fish that I'm going to be following from season 2. I genuinely like all these people, whether I thought they were awesome from the start or if I was kind of so-so about them from the start and they grew on me.